Hey guys, hey Twinkle, how's it going? It's good to see you guys. Working on some more ICD-10 notes for you guys. We've got some on symptoms that we definitely need to know about. If a physician or you get poisoned or you have an allergic reaction to some meds, all those guidelines and stuff sort of fall in place here with signs and symptoms and abnormal findings. So I'm going to write a few here. But how's everybody's week going? It's good to see y'all. I got some cool questions and I'm hoping to explain some things better on some of these new E&M things that I'm finding. Not really new, but variances. So MD equals adverse effect. Anybody got questions too before we get started? Adverse effect. How's this week going, guys? That just equals symptoms. And then we got a code number 2 will be our drug, which is going to be from T36 through T50 will be. Hey, Queen Scorpio, good to see you. Do I have anything from the beginning to the end? Well, I'm always creating stuff, so that's hard. The CPT book is pretty much complete. I need to do category 2 codes or something. But I put a few of those in the medicine section if it was important for the chapters. So the CPT book is complete. The problem is I take pictures of them and my notes all in color. And, of course, all my notes are color-coded for my own reasons. I like to use them for my do nots, do's, open, closed, and all that kind of stuff. So even when I take pictures of them and transfer those pictures into PDF and then put them in one document, the file sizes are so large, there's no website that will hold 1,000 pages in one thing, color coded like I do it. And I also take away the margins, so there's no margins. So by the way, if y'all are ever printing my notes or something, y'all have to change your printer sessions size thing from 8.5 to 11 to no margins at all, so that it won't cut off everything I've written. But they're mainly meant for you guys just to view on your cell phone, zoom in on them and write your notes just like I have, and then zoom back out and scroll to the next page, save your printers and ink for all that. But it's just hard finding a place that will hold all of it. I could zip file it, but Etsy does not allow zip files to be uploaded. My website does, and I've got a couple of those up, and I'm just testing the waters to see how that works. But for right now, it's by section by section. I need to buy my own zip file and see how it works. If y'all are able to just download the zip files individually, or are you put into a shared zip file folder where everybody sees everybody else? I don't know. Some people do notes like that, so I just got to figure out how we can get it all uploaded it as one thing. And then as I get done with the section, instead of making people wait, like I haven't done the whole ICD-10 book, it's a lot of pages. I don't want people to have to wait on me. I'll just post a section at a time as soon as I get done with it so that you've got it available, because people are constantly taking their exams and wanting the latest info. But it just, as soon as I get done with these books, the new ones will be out starting in October. But I'm working on it. I am doing good. Back is feeling better. Walked a mile today. Did good. Do you have anything from the beginning to end? Yes, I answered that one. Okay. Hey, Jen. Hey, Cashmere. I am feeling better. Thank you. Hey, Dawn. Jen, I'm so happy to catch your live, but I'm so exhausted. It's 9:15 here. Yes, I'm so sorry. Get you some rest. I've got some really cool questions, some really good ones. So I'll have it posted tonight on YouTube so you can watch it tomorrow. Kathy asks, which certification do you recommend after passing the CPC exam? I recommend right now, today's market, the CRC one. It's only over diagnosis codes. You only need this book to prep, which is great. And then it's highly sought after for medical groups and hospitals. You want to risk adjust your population, get your sickest in, get them more resources, get them taken care of so that you can mitigate problems before they get bigger. And that's where a lot of groups are headed towards. So if you can risk adjust and code, you are highly sought after. Thanks for all the follows. I do need an assistant. I don't know what to do. I've got Betty and I've got Twinkle, so they help me out a lot. I really appreciate them. For sure. Hey, MK, how's it going? All right, we got another guideline we need to write, which is if you do it to yourself. Or the patient. That's what I mean, just layman's terms. Do it. You, patient, I guess I should say patient, do to self. You have an adverse reaction to something, then we need to do our number one code is our drug of choice, whether it's alcohol, mushrooms is what they've been using on the exam lately. Whatever it is, if you do it to yourself, you're definitely going to go for the drugs first, is what we want to know. And then we're going to do the symptoms next. And then we are going to code if they're dependent on it. Thank you for the hearts. You or the patient does it to themselves. That's the order in what we're doing. And I've got an example we can write in right here. I've got a patient with Brady cardia. Remember, the Brady girls are slow. Tachy girls are fast. So bradycardia is slow heartbeat. Tachycardia is a fast heartbeat. Isn't that just an awful sexist thing that we learn in college to say about ourselves, I guess? But it's what I was taught when I went to school in, gosh, what is that? 1994 when I went to college. Bradycardia. Why can't we say the guys are slow? The Brady boys were slow. And the Tacky boys are fast. Why has it always got to be the girls? Due to Demerol. Correctly given by MD. Of course, it was correctly given. So our first code is R00.1, and our second code is our T40.2 X5A. And usually, no matter what the drug is, usually, not all the time, but usually, 5 is always adverse reaction on that 6-digit. I am just a hair early, just a hair, just a smidgen, and I'm just making notes. I'm not doing anything important yet. That question was on the practice exams. Yes, it is, MK. It is. Put any other ones in here about that? Kids are watching Harry Potter again. The one where they had the dance. They had to prance like lions. There's our R. And we can add a note about being slow there. So there was just as many girls as there was boys. Hey, Kimberly, love the butterflies. Yes, let's learn tacky boys. Coders and the future coder friends, you got it. Coding sisters and brothers, I guess I should say. There might be a brother in here too. Coding sisters. All right. Or the coding godmother, I've been called. Lots of things. Just a smidgen early. Hey, Christina, good to see you. You got that one wrong the first time you saw it. What is the word after due to? Self. You do it to yourself. You do it to yourself is what I was trying to do. You do to self. You drink too much alcohol. You take your friend's medication. You eat some mushrooms out of the forest. Have a reaction. You drink too much alcohol. You do it to yourself, or the patient does it to yourself, however you want to look at that particular scenario. And you do the T codes first. If the doctor gives you a prescription and you take it and you have a reaction, like your heart stops or something, you do this adverse effect first, like the slow heartbeat, and then you do the drug second. So there is a distinction between those two. And you just got to make sure in those practice questions you understand those differences before you start grabbing and coding. So some of the diagnosis codes I see randomly or often sometimes on the exam is, of course, slow heartbeat, elevated blood pressures have been known to be there. Hemorrhaging in the esophagus has been on the practice questions. We've used that one with a CPT code before. And another diagnosis, we had that RO4 point, with a CPT code of 31231. This one, the 42 can be from the nasal area. Let's see. Oh yeah, we've got cough and a bunch of other ones on the next page. Sternal chest wall pain, angina. Yep, that's the RO789. Chest pain versus anxiety. They got lots of examples, just tons of stuff. I'm looking over my notes from last year and the year before and all these ICD-10 books, and then picking out the best ones and going to move it here. For sure. Lots of ICD-10 books. Yeah, right now I'm on the 2022 AAPC version of their book, and I'm on page 971. Just looking at these on this first page to see if there's any cool examples to add. I've got up some practice exams, and I can use some of those scenarios to help us out in making more notes too. There's one for R symptoms. What did we get? The R92. Travis! My child is just screaming. He's telling a story. He's so excited over something. Yesterday they went and got some school supplies. They start school back August 1st, so it is coming up super fast. It was like July 27th or something, but they changed it to August 1st. So that will be cool. I'll have a little bit more time. I can do some more tutoring during the week, but I did open up Thursdays this week that are open for appointments if anybody needs anything. This week soon. Just looking through some more examples real quick. also have, those are going to be all in that T area. If I go there, did I add over there on our T and our R? Yep, I added the same thing on page 991. This is the adverse effect. The MD does it. This is if you do it to yourself, but I haven't marked it to state that. So I've got that on that page also. It's best to write it on both pages, because if we're going to write half of them one way and half of them another way, it's good to write them in both areas. And then I can do some T code ones where the T code comes first because you did it to yourself right here. And then I'll keep putting the R ones right there. Yeah. Super handy dandy to do it that way. All right, you're not a T code, you are. That's a burn though. So if one little thing about, we do the adverse effects from T36 to T50. Now in this section we have a few more things about some of these external causes. T51 through T65 includes intent, like suicide or an accident. Just nice to know in a flash where those are at, just in case, instead of having to go look for them. Yeah, we'll do some definitions too over here on our notes page, so that we've got some definitions. So we've got our adverse effect equals and then poisoning is supposed to be improper use. You take too much of it, that kind of thing. Toxic effect. Okay, so the toxic effect means harmful substances are ingested or come in contact with you and or the patient. And then the other one they like to use is underdose. This is going to be from T36 through T50 codes. Conditions caused, that means like you couldn't afford your medication, you couldn't get to the pharmacy, you didn't have the copay, whatever it is, or you just didn't feel like it. Now, in addition, if it's just a condition that caused it, you couldn't get to the pharmacy and pick up your meds, then that's one thing. But if you intentionally are non-compliant, you need to add a non-compliant code. Add like I just don't want to take the medicine. I don't believe in it, whatever. Non-compliance, which is going to be a Z code. Either your 12 or 13 code. So we're going to add, if non-compliance, a Z91.12 or .13, depending on which one it is, if by chance. You're welcome. Thanks for shouting out what pages they are on the 21 book. Y'all are cool. And my crane broke today. Travis had a virtual doctor's appointment today, and I was trying to get it tight and hold the camera up so they could see his face, and I broke it. So I literally have it taped right here, right now. So that's why I'm not moving it so much tonight. It's because we wouldn't be seeing anything at all if I didn't have some tape in the house right now. So I'm trying. I'm sorry. And you know, my handwriting is just insane sometimes. I don't mean to write that way. You'd think at 51 years old I'd know how to write a U, but some days the hands just do what they want to do instead of what they should be doing. But yeah, I got to get on to Amazon and get another crane over here. And then the other page on the 991. I don't know why. I'm using my new phone, so I'm trying not to move the crane so much. So anyway, I was hoping it would stay closer in focus, but I just can't move and tilt this thing to get it all into one frame. Maybe if I hold it like that for just a minute, y'all could get it screenshotted. All right. But for now, I'm going to put up all this pins, and I'll do some more of this in a little while. Ooh, that one's getting all over everything. Wonder what's wrong with you, Mr. Green. Now it's Amazon Prime Days, right? So did an order for new ink, new Sharpies, and let me tell you, new Sharpies pack with the retractable right now are due to ship in 3 to 4 weeks if I ordered it yesterday. So I'm like, well, I don't really technically need them till October. I think I'm okay until then, until the new books come out. But because it was Prime Days, I got 24 of these for $6 with free shipping. So I went on and ordered some Sharpies too, but they're not going to ship for like 3 or 4 weeks. But anyway, it's cool. It's all right. I don't need them yet. I just thought it was good that we had Amazon Prime Days right now. Have y'all gotten anything really cool? Or are you like me, just looking for just a $6 deal, and there's not very many of them? But those retractable pens were 24 pack, a whole case of them. But y'all probably don't use as many as I do, and it's good to get like different colors too. So, but I'll just keep those yellow ones for the several years. It'll be all right. I don't need a whole 24 pack, but maybe I can give some away. I contacted Alex today to look for that gift box thing that I won for having the best notes when they were doing that contest, and because it's been 5 weeks since then, and I haven't seen the box yet. Nothing's shown up yet. I did get everybody's names written down from everybody that emailed me or messaged me about their wanting to enter in the contest. I tried to email everybody back and say I got you, but I just got to tear the strips off and then put them in our little jar, and then I'll have the boys draw a bunch of winners during our workshop on Sunday. So if you haven't yet and you want to enter in the contest, email me at medicalcodingbyjen@gmail.com, and you can put raffle in the header, and I'll add you to the list and put you in our cookie jar and draw some winners. I've been giving away a bunch of tutoring last week and this week anyway, doing a bunch for people and helping out with some notes too. I know times are tough. Gosh, just going to the grocery store just is outrageous nowadays, isn't it? It's crazy. And I know the water heater went out here, 2 weeks ago, and that was $2,000, and now the air conditioner is going out and they want $10,000 for that. It's like, good gracious. Y'all, just the simple little things. The boys' hot dogs went up from $9 a packet to $15 a packet. I'm like, really? Nathan's? Does it really cost that much more to make your hot dogs? We like the Nathans. But I guess so. Oh, don't hit the crane. Don't hit the crane. We're going to fall down. Okay. Let me move all these ICD-10 books off this desk, and we'll get this CPT book going. I got some really cool examples for E&M, thanks to tutoring with somebody who bought some extra practice questions, and I got to see a few of them. Love it, love it, love it. And I've been trying to see if there's anything in some of those scenarios that are super cool. They've got not a lot of explanation about intensive care patients for adults in these sections. What if your patient's in intensive care? They've got a lot of it if they're neonate, a lot. But what if you have an adult in critical care or in intensive care services? They don't have a lot of explanation. So I got from AAPC, spent some more money on this, good God, I don't know how many pages book. And this is just on E&M. It's some sort of dictionary reference just for E&M from AAPC, and I'm going through it and trying to see if they have any better explanations about some of your, know your guidelines. We'll just write out the guidelines in English so we can understand them, and I could know the guidelines. That would be helpful, but it's really wordy. And then when they do say something important, super important, they don't explain it enough. They skim right all over that and give you a vague example of whatever it is. But I'm making sense out of it as best I can, and I got some cool little updates on our questions for tonight on it. So let me bring these up. Where is our E&M? Oh, yeah. So they're going to redo hospital visits, E&M guidelines. They probably already have them done. They just haven't published them yet. The consultation visits and your observation E&M guidelines for 2023. So as of January 1, when the new exams come out, and our critical care and intensive care, all those are going to be changing. So I wanted to get a good grasp on all the guidelines before they changed, just in case it becomes a big major issue. But oh gosh, you can hear the tape moving. Please don't look at the question. Y'all know y'all aren't supposed to be looking at it. Let's go look at our codes first for our answers. What is 99242? What is that code first? I could drop some books. 99242. What did I do? 99242. I haven't done any raffles yet. I just have everybody's names written down, and I just got to tear them up, cut them apart, and then fold them and put them in our cookie jars. I'll get to that. Yep. Intent, manifestations. Manifestations are symptoms. Yep. You ordered some vitamins, Annie? That's cool. I got some new ones somebody was talking about on TikTok I wanted to try out, but I haven't ordered them yet. That's a good idea. Do you have pictures of your notes? I'm taking this exam online. Yes, I do. I have a ton of them online. Just Google Medical Coding by Jen, and you will be able to find tons of notes. I've got them on Etsy and my website. And of course, on my website, I show you how to make the notes yourself so you don't have to buy my notes. And I teach you how to make notes too on all my lives. All my lives are on repeat on YouTube. You can go there and watch them. And if you go to my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com, there's a page that says CPT book prep, but that page, if you keep scrolling, does ICD-10. It's got your guidelines, a few of them down there too. You just click on the picture and it gives you the instructions, shows you how to make your own notes so you don't have to buy any. But we also have a Discord group that you should join, and the link to join that is at the medicalcodingbyjen.com website. Just click on the social media tab, and we have practice rooms with tons of help with like practice questions, what to expect on exam day, how to get your ADA, if you want an extra hour to take the exam, how to write the letter to a APC to get your A taken off of your certification once you pass. It's all in that exam day prep day room. ICD-10, HIPICS, tons of rooms here, even job help and CEUs. Just tons of help whenever. Ooh, I got to go answer that cases room. I made a new room for cases for me to post long case scenarios. I posted one question and forgot to go back and do the answer. I got to do the answer for those of you that have tried to answer it. I'll be in there one day. I'll get it posted. But super cool. Super cool. T51 through T65 includes intent, if you were intentional, if it was suicide or an intentional poisoning, a criminal act, that kind of thing. So, inflation is insane right now. It is. You take your exam on Sunday and your nerves are a wreck. What will be, Kia. You know, you just have to let it go, hon, and just relax. What will be, will be. Gasoline is outrageous. I would know. I ain't leaving the dang house. If Walmart and Amazon can't bring it to me, I don't need it. I'm just not going out. Plus, did y'all see the temperature yesterday? I posted it in the Discord room. 118 degrees. Look right here. 113 degrees today. Where's my temperature? Right now outside. And it is 7 p.m. at night. I ain't going nowhere. Nuh-uh. I might have to if this air conditioner dies on me, though, before they need 10 grand. But, you know, hopefully not. My dad, bless his heart, thought ahead and added some other units to the house, some 2-ton wall units. So we do have backups, but, oh, man, I ain't going nowhere, y'all. It's just until end of October. The rest of the year is just miserable. You can't go out there. Your gasoline dropped to $3.99. That's awesome, Lisa Marie. I did a school report in junior high where I pretended to be Lisa Marie Presley and I read her autobiography. I remember that. Anyway, sorry. As soon as I say something, it strikes a memory, I have to blurt out whatever that memory is. I'm just weird. All right. You graduated from school and you have no idea where to go to and next. It's so frustrating. I know, Kelly. The first thing you really need to do is go get you, if you don't have one yet, or do have one, your CPT book. And then step 1 is to go through that entire CPT book first, right off the bat, and write a page number down by all the codes that are out of sequence. So they show up red as a red CPT code. I'm trying to find one real quick. And they tell you this code is out of sequence. And you need to go look in this range of codes to see if you can't find it. You do not have time to fix that during the CPC exam. You need to go write down the page numbers. Now, I write down the column numbers that they're on, but You don't have to go that far. As long as you got a page number down right in front of it, you'll be all right. That's a whole lot better than going through the exam like I did and nobody told me about that situation, and I'm not a coder. I'm a medical auditor by trade, so it wasn't something that was common knowledge. And if I was paying for the information about what was on the exam, but no one said that first step, and that's truly important. Underneath every CPT code, you'll see what they call parentheticals. And if it says do not code a code with this code, I go through and mark those up with red stars and underline them. So that's your first two steps. The rest of them can easily be found throughout my repeat YouTube lives. You can also honestly go to my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com. Go down there to CPT book prep. I've got pictures of everything that's in my CPT book, and you just click on the picture and it tells you, okay, for this step you're going to do this. And then you can pick one or two or do them all or ignore them all, but it gives you a place to start, of where to go. And if you want notes that look like mine and get you through the exam, I can't mess with my crane today because I've got it taped up, sorry. But yeah, they're pretty good notes, and they're helping a lot of people get through. But that'll give you some directions on where to go. They just tell you, know your guidelines, know your guidelines. Well, that's so unhelpful. What about the guidelines do you need to know? Well, I like to teach you what you need to know about the guidelines while we're practicing questions. So if we go to our 99242 and we see what CPT code that is header is under, that's the first place to start with a CPC exam question. So this one's an office consult. Whether you're going to take your exam in person or online, it's best not to read the question at all. Just try to not read it, any words in it at all, and let the answers tell you what the answer is. So I always cover up the question, don't look at it, and then just go right down. This one is an office consult. A little abbreviation of what's going on. If you're going to take it online, you can get a dry erase board marker and write on your screen and then just wipe it off, just like I'm doing with this one right here during your online exam, and that'll work just like what I'm doing here with this little Word document thing. But the best thing to do is to write down a little something about what each code is, because you don't want to go back and forth between the book and the codes. You want to go on and write down what they are. So this one's an office consultation 2. And then those two, the O2 and the O3, are both new patients. So this obviously is a guideline question about whether you can bill this patient as a consult or do they have to be billed as a new patient. Once you get that figured out, then you can figure out if you're a level 2 or a level 3 of the individual sets right there. So trying not to read the question on these, I definitely go down to the last sentence and see who I'm billing for, because sometimes it's just you're billing for the PCP. Sometimes you are billing for the specialist. Verify that you know what the answer to the question is. Let me check on messages. Since I got 42 messages, good gracious, on TikTok. Hold on. It's best if you take it right away. Somebody said, do you know an easy way to level codes? I do. If patients has adhesive strips on lacerations, do we use an E&M code? You only use an E&M code, MK, unless they're there scheduled for a procedure, then you just code the procedure. If they come in today for a laceration and you only use steri strips to fix it, you just code the E&M code. Steri strips don't call for another CPT code. All right, you need to prep your book first and keep coming to the lives. Look at Annie. Kelly said, none of my teachers even talked about the test. All I know is how to use 3M encoder. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And I think that's the wrong way to teach these medical coding courses. Your end goal is to pass certification. Why not teach you from the certification's point of view? You're going to learn how to code and do everything else on the job, which is totally different from their course that they're teaching anyway. Why teach an antiquated book coding practice when no matter what, it's not preparing you for the certification exam? And then two, it's absolutely not a way you will ever have work in the job field. The job is all electronic EHR. It's just defeating all purposes for anything, and it's unhelpful, and it's a waste of a lot of money and resources. Time away from your family and the hours spent is just a lot. So I teach differently, and I didn't mean to. I just started talking and making TikToks about how I thought that was unfair, and this turned into something different. Everybody saying office consultations. Good job. How do you prep the book? Hopefully you got enough information on that. You don't need to study. You need to prep for your CPC exam, which is an open book exam. So as long as you've got the answers in your book, you're going to be beautiful. I'll show you some of my notes in a minute. This is why my lessons today, E&M, are very confusing. That is true. MK, you know that. Absolutely. I didn't order much more because it's time for my Prime renewal. Oh no. That yearly Prime renewal, it's awful. I remember when it was, what, $99? Oh no, Dumbledore just died. I hear that sad music. Oh, it gets my stomach flipping every time I hear it. Has anyone wants to study together, let me know. She takes her exam soon. Yep, I have a room in our Discord that is for study buddies. Y'all can meet up, make your own Zoom meetings, and work on practice questions together. I think it's a great idea. That's crazy. They don't tell you about the test. That's the whole point of the school. I know they don't. And the actual director of the curriculum for AAPC says it is intentional. They do not want the course relating to the certification exam at all. I made a TikTok on that one too. For your CPC exam, you need your ICD-10, CPT, and your HitPix book. That's correct. Be sure your ICD-10 and your HitPix are AAPC versions, or you are at a disadvantage. They can be prior year, like 2021. That's fine. That'll save you some money, but they really need to be AAPC versions. You just enrolled in school and you're excited. Wonderful, Trish. You have pleasant weather, MK, 70 degrees. Oh my gosh. Do you have to know MS DRGs for the exam? Not that I'm aware of. If we have one question kind of related, it'll be a compliance one about not passing on increased cost for hemophilia patients. And it's sort of related, but it's got the 0603 code with it, but it's not technically. The MS FDGRs and stuff like that will be on your COC exam. Maybe if you're taking CCS exam, but not for CPC. CPC is way easier than that. Yep, the study guide is handy dandy. If it's the one from AAPC, don't buy practice questions from other entities, even Amazon. They're not any good. I've bought everything everybody has. I'm going through them, and a lot of them are terrible, outdated, repetitive. The one I just bought for 2022 has literal questions with ICD-9 in it, which we haven't been in 10 years. They're just changing the cover of the books and reselling them. I have a certificate from a community college in ICD-9. Should I take a new course for ICD-10? Glamour, there's only 5 questions on the exam related to ICD-10 codes. They have not changed that much. You are just fine. They uplifted the tax on gas. I saw where like California and some states are giving back tax credits to all their citizens for that. I think they're getting like $500 for the increased gas prices. That's nice. She wants to pass this year. I know. I'm dreading October already when I have to start updating the codes, especially since they're updating E&M again. Yep, updating a new book. I just noticed that my ICD-10 book is an Optum. The UPD next to a code indicates the code is unacceptable for principal diagnosis. Awesome. How do you learn to fix your book? I'll teach you. Thank you. Hey, Mean, how's it going? Jen, you made 7 so good on E&M. What did I make good on E&M? New consults. Watch Jen's YouTube channel. Y'all are great. Thanks for helping to answer those questions. I'm trying to get through all these messages. I'm not too good at ICD-10. AAPC asked me to take the course for ICD-10. Yeah, I bet they did. They wanted your $600. Will the super bill tell us what to code or use? A lot of offices are using the EHR system instead of super bills now, and either way the doctor clicks the box on which one they're going to be billing, so it's easier than what all we're trying to do here. Yep. You're taking a 3, 8, and you feel lost, and I'm doing good, but I don't understand the guidelines. I got you. I can teach you those guidelines that you need to know. You're taking the exam Saturday. Are we allowed to highlight and write on the test? Of course you are. Absolutely. Yeah, it was $79. I didn't have the money back then when it was $79. I never did buy it and wasn't buying into it thinking it wasn't something worth having. Good luck on your exams. You're taking your exam on Saturday, and good luck. Love a study buddy, not on the test itself, but you can highlight on your test booklets. You actually can write on your test booklets. You can write inside your CPT and ICD-10 or HIPICS book. In case you're looking at codes and they're all over the place and you want to highlight which one's from this page and then fold over and do 2 more from that page, you can highlight them so you can see them faster. Plus you can write on your test booklet all you want. And then you are going to write on your bubble sheet for your answer sheets. Yes, our chemical sheets. Yep, on any available white space. Orchestra specialist, same in the second opinion. Is a request for a specialist the same as a second opinion? It can be. There is a difference in a guideline, whether the physician is going to take over care for that patient or just one particular issue, give advice and give them back to their doctor. So that's one of the ones I do teach E&M, absolutely. I have a $10 workshop that's 3 hours this Sunday if anybody wants to sign up for it. And we're going to go over what has been on the exam in the last 45 days, some E&M and cardiology practice questions and guidelines. So it starts at 2 p.m. Arizona time zone. It'll be a Zoom link, and you can also watch it if you pre-order it afterwards. So even if you can't attend on Sunday, you can have access to it if you want to. But that is also on medicalcodingbygin.com. So our guideline for it's 3 hours, and it's not a lot of chat like my TikToks are. It's just question to question. But for this question today, we do have a PCP that requested a specialist opinion on their patient. So are we new or are we consult? And they did ask us down here at the bottom to code the specialist visit. So that's what I wanted to make sure of. And I believe all of you guys said y'all were on the same page with the consult code, right? So we're going to get rid of our new patient. So now we just need to know our difference between the 42 and the 43. Well, our difference is because our guidelines for office consultation, right here, if we look at our 42 and our 43, we see that our guideline states we have to have all three components match. So we have to match our history, our exam, and our MDM. On the codes that are from 99202 to 215 in the very front, it kind of tricks people up because all you need for these codes is just your MDM and time. You don't need an exam or your history. But anything after that, starting with your 18s, your 218s, and all these, you've got to match up all three. So to be able to tell if we're supposed to code our 42 and our 43, which one we're supposed to code, we can't just grab our MDM, which is low, and run with that. We have to also make sure we go look at our history, which is detailed, and we go look at our expanded problem-focused exam. Look at all three. Our guideline number one with E&M always is we have to meet or exceed a level to be able to bill it. We can bill it if we did a super high MDM but only a expanded problem focused exam, then that's great. Our MDM can be super high, but we still have to bill whatever our lowest component is. Our lowest level of component is our exam. So our exam can only go with the 42 because that's the only one that says expanded problem focused exam. And we have to match with all three of them. We have to meet or exceed. It's okay that we went too far with our history, that our history was a 43 code because it's detailed. It's all right. We can meet and exceed. That's fine. But we can't, I just can't go any further than a 42 because our exam was only a 42. That's it. I just can't go any further, so I have to go there. Anyway, our answer is 42. There's an interesting guideline, though, and a quandary that comes up with some of these consultations. And I have another question coming up pretty soon that we'll run into that will look the same but end up having some different results, not from the exam and MDM and the history, but for another guideline. So we'll run into it in a minute, but hopefully everybody got A on that one. Intubations. I wanted to talk some more about intubations. Now, when the answer has all these different codes with it, don't fret. Just go to the first code. Remember to ignore all the modifiers and all the secondary codes. Just take it one code at a time. What's our difference between our 68, our 71, and 75? Let's start out there first. 468 is So 68 is initial neonate, but they have to be younger than 28 days, right? So we're just going to write younger than 28. Our 71, and some of these codes are fun to find, is pediatric patients from 29 days old to 2 years, 24 months, something like that. 29 days to 24 months. 24 months. And then 75 is peds that are 2 years to 5 years. So age is the only thing we need to know about. Knowing how AAPC is, they like to give us 2 super similar answers and 2 throwaway answers. I bet it's just a difference between the 68 with trach and labs or without. So our probable best bet is that it's a difference between A and B. But let's go check out our patient's age. And our patient's age is 27 days old. So, yep, we're still staying in those 2, so we'll get rid of B and D. Now we've got a 50-50 shot. Now all you need to know is your guideline about being able to do a trach and stuff on the baby. So, doc ordered a blood gas, which is the 8 code. They did place the baby in intubation and put the baby on a ventilator. That's vent and that's the intubation. I taught some of you that were here, what day is it? Monday, that because the baby was already admitted in the hospital in NICU before they did the intubation, we don't bill for the intubation since the baby's been already admitted into the hospital. We will always, it's going to be already included into the NICU. Now, if the baby was born in a birthing center down in labor and delivery and they intubated there, you would definitely use that 41500 code according to the guideline. But since the baby was already admitted into NICU, and then once in NICU, they decided to intubate, put it on a ventilator, and draw blood. We're not going to nickel and dime them and bill for all that. But they will itemize the bill down to every single Band-Aid to the parents when they get the bill. But they're not allowed to send that to the insurance company, so it's funny. Not funny, but yeah, that's our healthcare system right there. Yep. I wanted to go over it again because it's an important distinction. I want to make sure that everybody that's taking their exam this Saturday understands if the baby's already admitted into NICU, then they do the intubation. Do not bill your 31500. If they intubate in the birthing center, then use it all you want. Another hint is that we would never use, I've never seen a correct answer where an 8000 code was coded with any of these codes ever. So just knowing that alone is super helpful. No 8000 codes with our 68. All right. This is a good one. So what is our 305 code? 305. And if I didn't get to your message and you still needed to answer, just ask again. So that's initial nursing facility. Initial nursing facility. 235. They're all over the place. All over the place. 235 is observation, or including admission and discharge. So we're under observation. Our 222 is inpatient hospital, right? What is our 310? 310 is subsequent nursing and our hospitalization, initial hospital. So we must have a patient who is either in one place and going to another place or something like that going on. So let's check it out. Make sure you skim the bottom. Make sure you understand who you're coding for. Nothing fancy there. We do have a moderate MDM. We have, where's our exam? Comprehensive history and examination, and a moderate. So those are key. What do you guys think? I'm not going to say much more. I'll let y'all decipher. What do you think the answer is? I've got one C. Another C. I got an A. I got a D for the nursing visit. Another A. Bunch of A's. Just to cut in for a minute, there's a bunch of my notes from cardiology. Some of y'all were asking where to start. My notes, guidelines on the medicalcodingbyjen.com will tell you about knowing your difference between your arteries and your veins and the color coding and writing the one-word differences so that you can speed up and go through that exam faster. That's super handy-dandy. But I have not seen anybody with the correct answer on this question. Everybody is wrong, I believe. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I can't remember. But I think, no, I do have somebody right. I do have somebody right. This is the wrong question. Sorry. So what we got is a patient who is in the nursing home. She is a nursing home patient. Doc comes in to see her, says, you're just too sick, you're going to the hospital, and admits the patient to the hospital. Can you bill for your nursing home visit and your initial put in the patient into the hospital in the same day? Can you bill that? Can you bill both? Would D be a possibility for coming to the nursing home, seeing the patient there, but then transferring the patient to the hospital, and once at the hospital, doc follows them there and orders all this stuff? No. So we know D is a coding irregularity. And you know you're not doing any nursing home visits. So now only your difference is observation or initial hospital. So observation, this 3-5 includes your admit and discharge. We don't see here that the patient was asked to leave or discharged home. We only see the admit. So yeah, we'll get rid of that one, leaving you only the answer right here as your initial hospital. Yep, it is C. It is C. Sorry if I was confusing. I'm trying to bounce from one subject to another and don't do a good job of it. What? I try. No. It's 111 degrees outside. You're not allowed to go outside, and I'm not there to supervise either. Nope. Nope. They're going crazy. Being cooped up in the house all the time. All right. 99291. That is my favorite. I love this one. It's our critical care code because if it is critical care, all we need is time. We don't have to do that history, exam, MDM. It's just look on a chart and see what the time was. And Lord, that thing got myrtleated. Okay. I don't like that color anyway. Okay. And then our 232. What is our 232? 232 is subsequent hospital care. So all we got to know is, are we subsequent or are we critical care? Mm-hmm. All right. Whoops. I don't know why you're there. Swipe left to close. Which way is left? That way? Or is this way to close? Okay, there we go. Sorry. So I look down at the bottom to see what we're supposed to be coding, because a lot of times, a lot of this is filled with garbage. So total critical care time is 30 minutes, which includes time for intubation. Hey, Butter Pecan. So are we critical care or subsequent hospital visit? We are actually subsequent hospital visit. Thank you, Butter Pecan. We are actually subsequent hospital time because of that last sentence. So we have a guideline in E&M. And if we go to that page where 291 is, y'all go there real quick, the 291 code. Yep. In our little decision, little chart right there. So when you do an intubation and you're going to bill for an intubation, They do not want you counting intubation as critical care time with the patient because you're billing for the intubation. So, intubation takes 30 minutes away from any critical care time. You get to bill for critical care time if you had, let's say, an hour of critical care time and you did the intubation, then you get to bill for only 30 minutes worth of time. But if you notice on that chart on page 33, it says less than 30 minutes. Use the appropriate E&M visit. This patient had already been admitted and was in ICU. So they were in ICU. So they were a subsequent hospital visit because the doctor was doing rounds or got called to the patient's bedside. They were already admitted. They got in distress, needed to be intubated. The doctor did do 30 minutes of critical time, but it included intubation. Intubation has a guideline that says you got to take 30 minutes off of critical care time and only bill what's left for critical care because you're getting paid to do the intubation. So I hope that makes sense. We are doing the billing for this one is going to be C. C is your answer. You like that mean? That one was crazy. I fought trying to figure out what for this one for the longest because we have a guideline with pediatrics that we can't bill intubation unless they are pre-admit. Well, this is an adult who is admitted who we do bill for an intubation and we get to bill it. But for peds, NICU, you don't. So it's incredibly crazy. And I've been working on trying to explain it easier. So critical care services guidelines, I'm just going to read you their explanation and see if it makes any sense for you guys, in case I didn't explain it properly to you. But I think I did. I think I did good that time. Okay. CPT Critical Care Services Guidelines states the time spent performing separately reportable procedures or services should not be included in the time reported as critical care time. The time spent performing the intubation is reportable procedure because it is not among the list of included procedures listed for critical care services, but it is for peds. It's just not for adults. Anyway, they don't say that. The time spent to perform the intubation is deducted from the 30 minutes of critical care time, resulting in 25 minutes of critical care. I don't know where they say that at because this just only says total care is 30. But anyway, a lot of their stuff is sometimes wrong. Resulting in 25 minutes of critical care. Because the minimum time to report critical care code is not met, Critical Care Code 99291 cannot be reporting, eliminating those answers. This is a subsequent hospital care visit which requires 2 of 3 components. And you notice how they do have expanded problem-focused exam in one area, and then they had the MDM or something. Yeah, MDM is high. So they gave us 2 of those components when normally in critical care they don't do that. That's just time. Anyway, an expanded problem focused and a high medical decision making 2 of the 3 key components, making the code 99232. Yeah. Anyway. Annie, So if the time was an hour, we could code correct. So what I like to do is just write these types of examples in the book. So I would go to 99232, which I don't have in my notes. I would have to update these. And I would write ICU critical care, 30 minutes including intubation equals 99232-25, comma 31500, and add it there. You know, my notes are full of their terms of things that they use in their questions. Following day, admitted yesterday, staff management, ICU is my new one I have added. Since I released my notes, I've written that much down next to all three of these. I just haven't written this example out with the correct answer, which I've got room. I can add it right there. But, and then we'll write our PEDS ones, you know, with the, where we don't add the intubation, but they were in ICU themselves, but they call it NICU, over here by the 6-8 codes, wherever those are at. With that first question that we had earlier today about the PEDS baby, the 6-8, you write that example there next to that one, that code. We've got a NICU patient, 27 days old, has intubations, only bill equals the 6-8 code. And you just write a note about don't bill intubation if they're in ICU. But the difference is if they're an adult, you do, which is insane. But the more you write these little examples and then having them next to the codes during your exam and written out is super handy dandy. I shouldn't be moving. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Moving my phone so much because it loses its feed. But anyway, just having this stuff written out is going to be super helpful. It'll remind you about our conversations, our teachings, you know, during the middle of your exam, and hopefully you can carry me with you and remember, oh yeah, Jen said this and Jen said that, and you know, hopefully we can get enough notes into your books so that when you see a scenario like this during your exam, you'll remember our conversation we had here on TikTok and pick out the answer correctly. So the more I find like this, the better your chances are for sure for getting this right the next time. But I hate reading their explanations because they're just so wacky, and half the time they're wrong anyway. Or unhelpful. Sorry, I need to get a drink. It's been bugging me too, Ferris. Are you kidding? I've been working took us off to find out if this is correct or wrong or what, because so many more of their questions this week ended up having the wrong answers clicked and their system was incorrect. So they had to fix some of those. So then I didn't want to use their answers that they're telling me was correct in their CPC exam. And I wanted to see a different reference to see if it was correct. And so that's why I bought that huge book I was telling you about. I know it's still from AAPC, but I still need to know from their point of view what's correct and what's right and what's wrong. And I found that guideline under intubation in this big old massive dictionary reference guide that I showed y'all earlier today with an example. So then that helped me make that example clear, because literally they've got real exam practice questions with wrong answers in their system, and it was scaring me on that one because I've never heard of being able to bill for intubation on an adult. And I was even asking some billers, and they've never done it, but still I need the answer from AAPC's point of view, because they have their own way of doing things. These aren't real life scenarios. We want to know what answer they want and what explanation they want for their questions, because that's the only thing that matters if you want to pass the certification exam. Anyway, we've got a difference between new patients and established patients. Yep. E&M is another character. That question's been bugging me since you first showed it. Makes sense now. That's awesome. That's how I have to do it. I have to revisit it, do it again, think about it again to make it come through. Just seeing it once isn't helpful. Seeing it multiple times is helpful. For sure. I concur. We're fortunate. Aw, y'all are awesome. I thought about it, but not hard enough. Makes sense. MDM and PFE. Yeah. All right, good. Yeah, babies, we don't do the intubation once they're already in ICU for sure. I saw on a practice exam that a patient had an 8-centimeter brow laceration, and the codes were this and that, and doesn't cover the laceration 8 centimeters. Annie, you got to be careful with the face. The face is broken up into so many different groups of CPT codes. Your scalp is in one section. Your chin and cheek or something, they're all separate. The neck is separate. The forehead is separate. They group all of those body parts in individual CPT codes. If that laceration goes from the scalp down to the neck, you're talking about that 8.5 won't be coded as an 8.5 on anything. It's going to be 4 point on the scalp maybe, or a 2 point on scalp, and then it'll be 4 on the cheek, and then 2 on the forehead, and then 2 on the neck. It will be broken up into different areas. The head is a nightmare to code. It's awful. I hate it. And you're probably looking too hard at the exam. If you have to actually do any math on those laceration codes ones, you're looking too hard. There's an easier way to do it. Those should always be in numerical order, with the toughest being the biggest. So if you said your code ended in 21 with 22 after it, you should be in the order where like a 22 goes first and then the 21 goes second, or something like that. All those lacerations will be in order of the biggest laceration to the smallest laceration. So I can usually pick out the answers without having to do any math on those, just by looking at the number sequencing. But I can, if it's on, which practice exam is it on, and I can bring it up too. Let me know. A, B, C, D, E, or F, and I'll look it up. Yes, do not give up. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Anatomic locations. MK's got it going on. She's telling you. So we got another peds baby. We just need to know if this is new or established, first thing right off the bat. Hey, Dizzy. How's it going? Ooh, got 7 shares. That's awesome. So we got a baby here that returns. Makes me think we're established, right? We're going to get rid of the two new. And then it's just a difference between risk level for the patient and the doctor, or MDM, history, and all that stuff. We're getting appropriate history and exam and a low MDM. So since they're giving us a low MDM, we could probably just bill it off of that, huh? We got one self-limiting minor issue, really. Nothing chronic. Told them to do over-the-counter meds. We do have an MDM. What would y'all code? It's okay. I think is not on A, B, C, or D. Okay, I'll look it up. As always, mean is correct with our 213. I already forgot which one it was. Is that D? Yes, it is D. Yep, D. All right, we got a difference between new and established. The zeros denote a new patient. The 15 is established. We have different times for those, which is important because we have prolonged service code added to the end of two possible answers. So is our patient new or established? It says first time, so I think they're new. So we can get rid of A and B. Thank you, Twinkle. Have I really been talking for an hour and a half already? Okay. And then we just need to know if we need to add extra time to this or not. We have a time of 65 minutes. Is 65 minutes included in 205, or do we need to add more time to it by adding prolonged services? That's all we need to know. There's no reason to read any more of the question. Mean, are you sure? Go look up your time on 205. I think you're thinking of the time for 215. Time for 205 is up to how much time? The time for 99205 is 60 minutes to 74 minutes is included. It includes 74 minutes, up to 74 minutes. So we don't need the prolonged services for this one. So they were just trying to trick you, because normally their question is always about that 215, which is 54 minutes when it's the 215. But this one was 205. Yeah. Yep, C is your answer. All right, we've got our wellness. I forget, is that one's new? No, established. That one's established. This one's established. That one's new, wellness. And that one is new, patient. We just need to know if they're here for a wellness. That means they don't have a chief complaint, that they're just here for an annual physical. Then we could bill our 96 or 86 based off whether they're a new patient or established patient. So it does say that they're here for a wellness exam. So we will get rid of that and that. We just need to know if they're new patient or not. She is established because it's only been 2 years. Remember, how many years does it need to be before we call them new again? we need to have 3 years first gone by. We need 3 years. 3 years need to go by. So that keeps us at established. Yep. We are A. All right, what is our 253 code? What is that one? 253. 253 is under inpatient consultation. That is consultation. 243 is office consultation. That's initial hospital. And what is 33? 33 is subsequent. Subsequent. All right. Oops. Where'd I go? There we go. Trying to get the whole question in here for you. I have to hold the crane in spot. So let's check out our bottom. So they're asking us to code for the cardiologist. Okay. So patient was admitted last night. Primary care physician requested a cardiologist opinion. And we are going to bill for the cardiologist. So we are doing. Now, the confusing thing without the chart is, were they admitted and seen last night by the cardiologist? And then this is a subsequent visit. Without the chart, I wouldn't be able to tell, but I'm assuming they were admitted, I guess, by the primary care physician last night. And then the cardiologist is doing rounds this afternoon, the next day. But I do have a comprehensive history, and MDM was moderate. And do we have a history? Comprehensive history and a detailed, I spelled something wrong, detailed exam. Okay. They did. For her malignant hypertension. So she's definitely not a subsequent. She's definitely not an initial hospital visit because they were admitted last night. Last night is a different day. People don't get admitted last night and see patients today for initial. So it's a difference between the two consults. And the 43 is under office settings, but 53 is under a hospital setting. So we know our only answer can be is A. Because the patient is on the floor in the hospital. So if you look at the 53 CPT code descriptor, underneath the time where it says typically 55 minutes is spent, it also says bedside on the patient's floor or unit under 53. 43, if you look at it, underneath the time, it says face-to-face with the patient and or family. But these are at the agency, you know, the healthcare provider, they say agency or whatever, blah, blah, blah. It just means that they're at their doctor's office. It's okay. It's good to be wrong with me. That way you won't get it wrong when you see it again. The best way to learn is to do it wrong because you'll remember the next time. That is perfect. It is okay. And then now you'll remember that the 53 and 52 and 51, 54 and 56, they all have that one little line down at the very, very bottom, last sentences underneath the time that says that they're bedside or patient's hospital floor or unit. So that is helpful for sure. So we've got new or established. So not too hard. Not too hard. We've got a patient here for shoulder pain. They keep going back between a Dr. G and a Dr. W. Follow up, have some ice. She will ice the shoulder after an injection and take some ibuprofen, so she must be getting a procedure done. She's had shoulder bursitis for 2 years. Yep, because this doctor is on emergency leave and another doctor is filling in for this doctor from the same practice, we are not doing a new patient. We are definitely keeping them at established. This patient has one chronic condition, right, with that bursitis. So we definitely will bill with our 213. Good job. Y'all might not like this next one. All right, what is our 99219? And then we'll go look for that laceration. 99219 is our observation, initial admit observation. Our 222 is initial hospitalization, and our 235 is again observation, and so is this one observation. So it's probably a difference between all those observations, right? So we got a COVID patient, and they could be particular. Let's go down here and make sure what we're trying to answer first before I start going into what is going on in the question. So they want to know the E&M codes for the 3 days in observation unit. So that's helpful. That tells me right away to get rid of the initial hospital visit because that 222 is initial. We just need to bill for observation status. So with the differences between these codes is this is initial hospitalization in observation. This one's initial with discharge. We need to know if the patient was ever discharged. So I'm just going to come back down here to the bottom and see if they ever said anything about discharging anybody. I don't see nothing. Hey, Red. It's good to see you. So if they were admitted into observation for 3 days and we needed to bill for those 3 days with no discharge, which answer would it be? I know this 235 is going to be under the header of admit and discharge. Am I correct? 235, yep. Because our 234, 235, 236, those three codes include admission and discharge all into one code. So I would get rid of that one. And our 225 happens to be our subsequent observation. So we have initial hospitalization observation status, and then we have 2 days of subsequent observation visits. Little old guy's still there. He's just languishing around in the hallways of the ER, probably somewhere, for 3 days without food. God bless his heart. Anyway, unless he's got family hanging around, just for having COPD. So yes, A is your answer for sure on that one. That was a cool one too. All right, let me see if I can't find, bear with me a second, that practice question with the lacerations real quick. Let's see. No. Don't want to go there. I want to go here. Yep. So it's one of those first ones, right? Where the motorcycle accident or something, total length. I don't know if it was scalp. This is foot and arms. Foot and arms. Foot and arms. That's foot and arms, not that one. Let me go back up here to the front. I know I've seen it somewhere. There's the bike. Where did she have the laceration? From the scalp. Yep, the scalp laceration to the face. Yep. This one's the kid from that's riding the bike that has it from the scalp. Laceration on the face, and then the legs, and they ended up stapling the scalp, so they didn't do any sutures, and they used steri strips on the wounds on the face, so there wasn't even anything to code for the face for that part. It's not that one. Okay. Toenail. No. Basal cell. Nope. Oh my gosh, my kids. They're so loud. I don't know if y'all can hear them, but I can. Basal cell carcinoma. That's a Moz. Scrolly up. Lips and nose. Bilateral eyelids. Left breast. Nope. Eyelids. Vulva. Lumbar. It could end up being on the bottom of these too, because I forget they add some crap down at the bottom. That's a scar they redid. This one, maybe this one right here. This one right here. There it is. This is it. So the first thing, I did on this one was not even care to do anything other than look at that first numbers. So I know the 1 is abnormal, so I get rid of that, and I don't look at that anymore. And then I go back And those all are the same of those three right there. So then I look at the extenders. The 4 is abnormal, so I'm going to get rid of the 4. So right now I have eliminated, just because I'm doing the similarities thing, just looking for similarities. The reds are gotten rid of. All I'm looking for is that similar, that similar. Now, when I look here, my next codes, they're just asking, would I add an extra 33? Would I add an extra 33? Would I times a code and then add that code again and add 52 to it? No, that's unreasonable. So I'm just looking for coding irregularities along with looking for similarities on this one, and I would find the answer that way without looking at anything, not even the first word of the question. That's how I do this question, is because figuring up scalps and heads and coding all this crap it's a nightmare, and those questions are meant to slow you down and make you spend 10 minutes on them, when if you look at it from an even simpler point of view, just from looking at similarities and getting rid of things that do not look the same, and then looking at the differences between the answers or looking for a coding irregularity, you can absolutely figure out what the answer is on that one without having to even read anything. Now, why is 32 before the 33? So let's see. 131, where is that code? 131, 32 is forehead, cheeks, chin, mouth, cheeks, genitals, hands, feet, from a 2.6 to a 7.5. So you're saying, oh, these are a nightmare. I hate these things. So we got to get out our piece of paper. We're only looking for a laceration on her forehead, but they're saying 8.6 forehead, but laceration to her forehead and a 5.5 on her cheek and all that stuff. Why is the 33? Is each additional? Okay, so the 32 does only to 7.5, which is correct. Does only to 7.5. The 33 code is an add-on code. It can't be coded first. It's just going to add 5 centimeters to that one. So if you add 5 to that, you're getting 12.5 in total that you're billing for on the forehead. Now we got to add our cheeks to it. So her cheek was, because is that part of there? Yeah, the cheeks are part of there. The cheeks are, let's see, she sustained a laceration forehead. Her laceration to her right cheek was a 5.5. So 7, well no, she had 8.6 plus a 5.5 and a 4 on the other cheek and a 4 on her chin. Can we add chin to that one? Yes, we can. Her chin laceration was a 4. We cannot add her chest to that one. So if you add all those up, she had an 8.6 and that is 11. So she has 8, 9. Plus 9 is 18. Plus 4 more is 22. She had a 22 point whatever one that you can bill for the 32, but the 32 only goes up to here, so you need to do your 5s. So the times 3 is exactly what you want because they're 5 each. If this only does this, then we can do, that's 15 more to add to it. 7.5, 5, that's 11, that's your 21 right there. Woohoo! So that's why it's times 3. So if you go through there and you add up all the face, cheek, whatever, her chest will be coded. Her other code, the 01, right? Her 01 is for her chest. Her chest fits in there quite nicely because it does up to 7 point something or another. And then her 02. Yeah, that's why we needed the 02 for the extra 5 centimeters because her chest was 12. Her chest was 12, but the code only covers 7.5, but our chest was 12, so we had to add 5 more to it. 5 to this gets us 12.5, and her chest laceration was 12.5. That's why they added the 01, but then they added the add-on code behind it to cover that chest one. So, yep. Anyway, I don't know if that explanation helps. Does that help? Is she even still on? Is she still on? Mean and Twinkle. Does that make sense? Aw, thanks, Twinkle. I'll repeat this question. It's a really good question. On Friday's live, I'll pull it out of here where y'all don't see the answer, and then we can go through it and do the lacerations. I'll try to make up some different ones that'll go along with it that are just as difficult, but it's just because her laceration was bigger than what the highest code would do in that particular body part. We have to have an add-on code to add 5 more centimeters. They had to add 15 more centimeters to that person to get enough length involved. But I hope that's helpful. Yes, I can explain this on Sunday's workshop too. Absolutely. Very cool question. I hope this has been helpful, guys. I will post this live on YouTube just as soon as they get it. Annie, I think it was you, right? I think you're the one that asked, so I hope that's a little helpful. Okay, I need to go redo on how I picked the right answer. With this one, I didn't even want to bother. I just like looking for similarities because I know they give us 2 throwaway answers that are garbage and then 2 that are super close. And then I just look and audit and see, well, what's the dang difference between those 2? And it was that extra 33 that alerted me to thinking, that's crap. We don't do 52 modifier on integumentary anyway. That's reduced services. So I would just get rid of that and then just pick C and run with it. I would just guess that and move. It's the right answer, but ain't nobody got time during the CPC exam to figure out all of that exactly. You just don't, but I'll explain it properly. Yep. Burns are the highest to the first, yes, but Rachel, do you also know which burns are coded first? What if you have a 1-degree corrosion burn and a 3rd-degree flame burn? Which one would you code first? It would actually be the 1-degree corrosion burn that gets to be coded first because battery acid corrosion burns are coded first. And then your fire flames. Anyway. What is she saying? I'm glad I wasn't too bad on the exam in integumentary. You are awesome. You are always. It's not the same problem. Uh-oh. You'll have to email it to me. Send it to me on Discord or something. I'd love to work it up and see if I can help you with it. The workshop will be about what's been on the exam in the last 45 days, where people tell me what questions were on their exam, what vocabulary terms, those kind of things. It'll also be over E&M, some of these cool things that I've been finding out. Cardiology. I am glad I wasn't, okay, yes. Encode burns, I wasn't thinking I couldn't get over 40 marks. There is no description. I want to make sure I'm signing up for the right one. Yeah, it's the only one for this Saturday. I gotta go put a description on it. Yep. Yep, burns are 3, 2, and 1, but just make sure corrosion isn't involved also with it. There can be telemeth on the test, absolutely, and that's just a time situation. Or if the patient was seen in the last 7 to 14 days before or after the visit, if they're Medicare patients, you don't bill for the telehealth visit. So there's some guidelines there for sure. Anyway, guys, I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to get off here for right now and get to working on the workshop. I got to update the description and also work on some questions for it. Amy, send me that question you want me to work up and I'll get it done for you. I hope this has been helpful, guys. There absolutely can be molecular path on the test. If you get exam C, it can be for sure. You're welcome. You're welcome, Annie. All the shares, the 10,000 likes. Thank you guys so much. And I couldn't figure out how to get back in here. I'm back in now. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to try to... That's not the right way. Do it this way, Jen. See y'all later.